Hey, what's goody, Frye gang? Now that side order has been out for a couple months, the hype and recency bias for it has died down a little bit, and with it being a brand new DLC campaign, it is very commonly and often compared to Octo Expansion. So I kind of wanted to make a video going over which game is better, Octo Expansion or Side Order. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And at least for the Octo Expansion part of this video, I'm gonna have gameplay of like a challenge run, a scrap challenge run that I was doing a while ago. But I mean, it's scrap now, so you don't have to worry about it. So don't say anything about the terrible gameplay. I promise I'm not this bad at Octo Expansion. It's just for a challenge run. My capture card still hasn't come in yet because Amazon, being the amazing company that it is, my delivery is getting delayed by another day. So I have to use old scrapped fucking challenge run gameplay. But with that out the way, let's get into this video. Octo Expansion is a game, and Octo Expansion is a game that has everything that I like about a game. It has gameplay and is also a game. Octo Expansion is probably one of, if not the best experiences I've ever had playing Splatoon. As many of you may know, I am not a huge fan of the story modes in Splatoon, but the DLC, so Octo Expansion and Side Order, I'm a huge fan of. For some reason, I really like these story modes, but not the actual hero modes in the base Splatoon games. It's very weird. But Octo Expansion especially is amazing. I love everything about it. The characters, Agent 8, Deadfish, are both amazing characters. I love the entire aesthetic and theming of the Deep Sea Metro with this whole eerie and mysterious feeling to it. The music that Deadfish creates also very much matches the feel of the Deep Sea Metro. Also, the train stations or the tests, the trials themselves, the areas are beautiful. A lot of them are different, like they all have their own aesthetic to them. Some they got bubblegum, some others have like game cubes and just stuff floating around. They're very pretty to look at, and every level is structured very differently. Okay, and probably the best thing about Octo Expansion and what a lot of people really like about Octo Expansion is the story and the lore. Octo Expansion is packed with like lore and hidden details and subtext. So the story of Octo Expansion is pretty solid, but it's the lore that hooks me, all the lore behind it that isn't told to us directly through dialogue and everything. A lot of it can be told through the environmental storytelling or through the art books or interviews or the manga. Like there's so much lore behind Octo Expansion. Octo Expansion is so ingrained into the overall lore that it's a pretty big deal. And this is one thing that it actually has over Side Order, which I will talk about later. But Octo Expansion is amazing. It has a ton of content, all right? It's got 80 unique levels. 80 unique levels. That is a whole lot. That is almost 100 if you can't count that high. 80 is a lot of levels, all right? And each level has a different array of weapons you can use. And some of them are special stages to where you use just a certain special. All right, there's plenty of different bosses to fight and they don't really feel old or repetitive. There's just a whole lot of content. And then it even has a hidden secret boss after you complete all 80 of those levels without help. So if the 80 levels wasn't enough, you have a secret boss fight, which is arguably the hardest fight in the entire series. So it's more than a payoff for all the hard work you had to go through for clearing 80 floors without any help from Pearl and Marina. And all of that gets paid off with this huge big fight with Inner Agent 3, which is so difficult, and it feels so satisfying to finally overcome and beat it. And you get a beautiful gold pick after it. So Octo Expansion is amazing. Deadfish is one of my favorite characters, no surprise to anyone here. I absolutely love Deadfish, the music, the design, everything. The lore behind Deadfish. Deadfish is my favorite artist in the entire series. So the music is immaculate. I listen to it all the time. It fits perfectly with the aesthetic and just overall atmosphere of Octo Expansion. The design is very nice. I love the sanitized green skin with the blue hair with the red tips complement each other very well. And those just look nice on the green skin. So the blue hair with the red tip complements the green skin. So just the overall design, it stands out. There's no other character that looks like Deadfish, especially with the green skin, but just the overall design just looks like a badass sanitized DJ. We don't have any other character like that. So I've already loved Deadfish from the beginning since Octo Expansion, and then a full-on beautiful 3D model in Side Order. It actually has some significance in Side Order. Hearing them talk for the first time, it's amazing. Deadfish is a great character. Deadfish is actually one of the main reasons why I like Octo Expansion so much. And I like Deadfish so much that I made an entire video on Deadfish. So go watch that one because I think it's pretty well made. I like how it turned out. And it's just an interesting video to watch. So I'm gonna link that in the description, maybe also in a pinned comment. But go check out that video. I enjoy that one a lot. But yeah, Deadfish, one of my favorite characters. She's amazing. And another thing Octo Expansion has going for it is the boss, final boss, the main antagonist, villain, Commander Tartar. Commander Tartar has so much going for him. One of the best, if not the best, Splatoon antagonists that we've had so far. But I mean, we've only had what, like 4? DJ Octavio, Mr. Grizz, Smallisk, and Tartar. And of all of them, Tartar is definitely my favorite. He's had a lot of lore built up from the manga and just what he's told us, and he actually feels like a threat to the world. He's literally going to use his like fuzzy ooze, Mr. Grizz, god damn it, his primordial ooze blaster to coat the world in this primordial ooze and make this one singular new species and creature. It's insane. The lore and overall story and premise of Octo Expansions is insane. So it's an amazing final boss, an amazing antagonist. The protagonist, Agent 8 herself, is also very cool. I mean, she's more of like a blank slate, but the design is very nice. I love the whole pink theming of Octo Expansion. Pink is my favorite color, so I'm all in for that. I do like the black outfit that Agent 8 has going on. Just overall, the entire aesthetic and atmosphere and everything about Octo Expansion is amazing. The credits theme of it with Into the Light is a fan favorite. That's a classic. So we also got new outfits for Off the Hook with MC Princess Pearl. Y'all already know how I feel about that. Marina's DJ Hyperfresh outfit is also very nice. Just Octo Expansion was like the perfect Splatoon experience for me. It is absolutely immaculate. But now that I've gone on long enough about Octo Expansion, let's get into and talk about Side Order. And now Side Order. I enjoyed Side Order a whole lot. Side Order is very fun to play, and with it being a roguelike, it is very replayable. That is the entire point of Side Order, is that you're able to replay it over and over and over again, and every single run will be different from the last. I really do like that. Nintendo took a huge step and risk with Side Order, changing up the formula with all of the story modes and Octo Expansion. They have all been kind of the same type of platforming campaign type of thing. This was the first big switch they've made to the story modes, and it's a full-on roguelike instead of the platformers that we're used to. And it actually turned out very well. A lot of people liked the change. Now, there were some who have never played roguelike before, and the reception to this wasn't the greatest, especially on Twitter. You'd see people crying everywhere about, oh, what if it's too hard? You die and have to restart all the way at the beginning with nothing. Yes, that's how roguelikes work. Y'all have never played a roguelike, and it's clear. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Splatoon fans are never going to beat the allegations. All right, Splatoon fans don't play any other games. They will never beat those allegations. But the roguelike take on Side Order was very refreshing to the series, and it's done very well. It was received pretty well in the grand scheme. So I'm excited to see what they do for the future of Splatoon. If maybe Splatoon 4 story mode will be roguelike like Side Order. Hey, who knows? But Side Order is a very fun game. The music is immaculate, especially the 8-ball levels, the souvenir songs. They sound so atmospheric and spacey. They fit the overall aesthetic of Side Order pretty well, and I really do like the whole white and monotone aesthetic to Side Order. It's very in character for it. It's very orderly. Everything is neat, nice, ordered and organized as it should be, with the whole big theming of order. So I really like the aesthetic, the all white. Agent 8 looks great in her all white outfit. Everything just looks neat. Looks tidy, neat, and nice, okay? The gameplay is very fun. We get one weapon from each class, which is very nice. We can interchange the kits on those weapons, so that's something people have been wanting for a long time. We can build our custom kits. It's the overall premise of the color chips with the different palettes is a very nice addition because, like I said, it's a roguelike. It'll be different every single time. The game's basically a big, huge randomizer. So it's very fun to play through multiple times. No two playthroughs will really ever feel the same. It's great, but there's also a downside to that, as Side Order, for as long as it was in development, it's kind of lacking in content. There's not really a whole lot to do. I think they focused too much on the replayability factor, but didn't put enough content in the game to warrant that. So there are only 30 floors, which is kind of disappointing, at least for me and a lot of other people who are more versed in roguelikes and just more less casual gamers, let's say. So for a lot of Splatoon fans, a lot of the more casual players who don't really play roguelikes or anything, 30 floors may seem like just enough. It's perfect, or for some of them it may be a little too much. So Side Order is just the perfect amount for casuals, but for more like hardcore gamers like me, 30 isn't enough. I was hoping at least maybe 50 floors for the Spire. That would be perfect. I thought maybe at least after we beat the first initial 30 floors, we unlock 10 or 20 more floors for like a total of 50. That would be great. If Side Order had a total of 50 floors, that would be amazing. You could make an absolutely broken weapon. It's great. But yeah, 50 floors would be the ideal amount for me. And there's not really a whole lot of boss variety in the game either. There's only 3 mini bosses and then Smallisk. So I understand that it can get a bit repetitive. There also aren't that many regular like gelatin enemies. There's a decent amount for how many we have and how long, or short I should say, Side Order is. There's a pretty decent amount of enemies there, but it can get a little stale once you've played through Side Order multiple times, because there aren't that many different layouts, I guess, for each of the objectives, and there's only like 4 objectives: the portal, the towers, splat zones, and chasing those stupid ass like speedy wheelfish around. There's only 4 different objectives. I think there's one more, for some reason I can't remember, but there's those 4 different objectives, 30 floors, only 3 unique bosses. So after a while, once you've played enough, it can start to feel a little stale. So at least the gameplay is very fun, but I feel like there could be a bit more content to flesh it out and make it not get so stale so quickly, but it's just so replayable and there's just so much randomization to it that the staleness takes a bit to start to settle in. And as for the story, yeah, the story wasn't Side Order's strongest part. It wasn't Side Order's strongest aspect. The story, you need to beat Side Order multiple times to get the full story. For a lot of people, I'm sure that like they'd run through Side Order with like 1, 2, maybe 3 pallets and then they'll be done. That's enough for them. But if you want the entire story, you're gonna have to beat the game with every single pallet, all 9 pallets. And that could be a pretty daunting task for some of the more casual players, especially with Octoshot. So if you want the full story, you kind of have to beat the entire game, and a lot of people aren't really going to do that. And not only just from the dialogue of Smolisk himself, but also from Marina's dev diaries. You need to beat the Spire with every single palette in order to get all of the lore from her dev diaries. But her dev diaries do have some nice lore about the production of project members, as well as a little bit of stuff on Agent 8. I will touch on that in the later section when I compare the two directly. But we get a little bit of information about Agent 8. We also get some more information on Pearl and Marina and their relationship as they're going on tour and everything. We also get some more lore on Kamabo and Deadfish, so that's where I was really interested in, because I mean, it Octo Expansion stuff, so of course I'm gonna pay attention. But the story for Side Order is kind of lacking, and it's to no fault. Well, there's a little bit of fault to Side Order in that, but some of it is not really Side Order's fault, but I will talk about in the next section. But overall, I think Side Order is a very solid DLC and is worth the $25 that it costs. I think there could be a bit more content. The amount of pallets is fine. We have 1 weapon from each class. That is more than enough. But a bit more floors and some more layout and enemy variety. Maybe like 1 or 2 more objectives, although I'm not really sure what new objectives could be, but more floors, which would in turn mean more bosses, I am all for. So 50 floors, max 50 floors, that would be perfect. But where Side Order is right now with its 30 floors and 9 pallets and the amount of content that it has is pretty solid, but obviously nowhere near Octo Expansion. So overall, Side Order is a very, very solid game, and I love that Deadfish started collabing with Off the Hook. It's amazing. Off the Hook's my favorite idol group. Deadfish is my favorite artist, so seeing them two work together is like a dream come true. But Side Order is a very, very solid game, and I enjoy it a whole lot. And for the verdict, which game do I think is better? Before we get to that, I did want to compare the two games to each other a little bit. Now, Side Order is a lot more recent than Octo Expansion is. Octo Expansion had a lot more time to win us over. It also had more time to have more story and lore built up around it. Side Order's been out for only a couple months. Octo Expansion has been out for what, like 7 years? Okay, 6 years almost? 5 years, something like that. 5 to 7 year range, I don't feel like counting right now, but it's been out for multiple years, around half a decade. So that is plenty of time to write up some lore, drop it in some art books, manga, interviews, whatever. Octo Expansion has been around for a long time, so it's grown on people a lot and had a lot of time to develop. Side Order just came out, so obviously it's not going to have as much lore or anything like that like Octo Expansion. And I actually made a poll asking people if they liked Octo Expansion or Side Order more, and surprisingly more people chose Octo Expansion. But given what I just said, that Octo Expansion has been around a lot more, it's grown on people a lot more, and it's so big in the lore and overall story of Splatoon now, it's understandable why most people would like Octo Expansion. But at the same time, a lot of the comments were saying how Side Order they've only played Side Order and not Octo Expansion. So it's kind of nice to see the difference right there. But yeah, Side Order has not been out nearly as long in order to receive the love and attention that Octo Expansion has from the fans or the developers. But for the long-awaited question, which game is better to me, at least? Which game do I like more, Octo Expansion or Side Order? And I think this is pretty obvious, but the winner is very clearly Octo Expansion. Yeah, that's no surprise. I think Octo Expansion is perfect. I don't have any complaints about Octo Expansion. Like, I can't think of anything that I dislike about Octo Expansion. It's the perfect Splatoon experience for me. I love Octo Expansion. I still go back and play it to this day. Inner Agent 3 and all the levels and everything. It is immaculate. Octo Expansion will be my favorite for a pretty long time. But yeah, that's really about it. I talked way longer in this video than I probably should have, as I always do. So I will stop talking now. See you next mission and play some goddamn Splatty.